Hello Globetrotters, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori, and in this community, we aim to educate, motivate, and inspire each other in all things travel related. So I took a little break involuntarily. I was traveling, also spending time with family, and then also I was a little under the weather. I'm still a little under the weather. My voice may sound a little bit nasally, but I power through regardless. So this video has been a long time in the making because it's been a few weeks since I've been back from Turks and Caicos. And so of course, as per usual, I have to do a video of what you need to know before you go to whichever destination it is that I've just traversed to. If you're new and this is your vibe, you like travel content, then go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you find yourself liking the video, if you find that there's at least one thing that you learn in this video, hit that red button down below, okay? Let's get started. Come along. So I did a previous video at the beginning of my YouTube channel back in 2023 of the Turks and Caicos, of my trip back in 2023. And so I just put that in there. There was no voiceovers or anything like that. And I just have some facts about the country, about the island specifically that I visited, one of the Turks. And I wanted to make sure that you guys had that information, so I'm going to link it down below as well. Now, you know your girl had to put on her glasses because she tends to be blind without it. So first things first, I know a lot of you are here because of Noah's Ark. And Noah's Ark is a giant draw for the island. They have been trying to market more and more to younger tourists, to younger travelers. And so one of the attractions is this barge kind of that's floating in the middle of the ocean where there is just waist deep water around it. But it's like a restaurant slash bar slash club, if you want to say that. Very small space. Probably putting some clips up here right now as I'm talking about it. But black-owned business. I saw him there. He was actually ushering people onto the barge. A few facts you should know if you're going for Noah's Ark specifically. It's open daily, but it's crazy packed on Sundays because they have a live DJ. That's kind of when you may get the celebrity run-ins, that kind of thing. You know, Drake and some other celebs. This is when the yachts pull up, or the people who have chartered boats, they pull up alongside the barge and they kind of party along with the people on the barge without being in the full mix of the crowd of the barge. And if you saw my previous vlog on Turks and Caicos, you saw how it went from just a few of us on there to it being completely packed. So open daily. Check with them about the time because their posted time was not accurate when we went there. I think they said that they would be open from 10, but in fact they were not open until 11 a.m. The cabs are expensive. Oh my gosh, the cabs are expensive. And not only are the cabs expensive, the prices are random. So for instance, my ride from the airport, they quoted us $16.50 each. And that was 3 of us. Now this is not a private car. This is a kind of like a minivan. So it's a lot of other people that they're dropping off along the way. So it's not a direct route to your destination. So $16.50 per person. My son was livid. He was absolutely livid. He's like, it's a 15-minute ride. Why is it so expensive? And I said, you know, this is part of what you pay, the price you pay for being on an island, for being on a beautiful island. My friend, who it was just her coming just a day later, her cab charged her $35. $35. And they said it's because it was just her. Still didn't make sense to me because she wasn't the only one in the minivan. There were tons of other people, so he had to drop people off at different places. So my advice that I've given in other videos to make sure that you book your transportation before you get there still stands. I didn't do that this time, but I do have someone who we used several times throughout the trip, and I would just give her a call. And her name is Nancy. She has a white Suburban. Her phone number, she told me it's fine to give you the phone number. It is 649-345-4472. And again, it's Nancy. Her car was clean. Her car was well maintained. She drove really safely. I'm not getting any kind of kickbacks from this video. I just, you know, she doesn't know I have a YouTube channel or anything. I just asked her if it's okay for me to share this information with some of my friends, and she said, sure, go right ahead. I said, you sure you don't mind if I share your number? She said, no problem, go right ahead. So Nancy is the one to call, and the prefix for the phone numbers is 1, so 1649. So yeah, so I would highly recommend that you book a private direct trip for your transportation. Otherwise, you'll be stopping at all of the other resorts, and you may get a little bit of FOMO. You may get a little bit of envy along the way. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully not. Taxes. The locals do not pay taxes. They don't pay income tax. They don't pay property tax. They don't pay car taxes, any of that. However, you as a tourist, you're paying 12% taxes on everything. You're paying 12% taxes, and alcohol is expensive. My advice to you, I think in the vlog you saw me pay $40 for a bottle of port. And this isn't like a reserve bottle of port. This is port wine if you're into port. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into the details of it. But a $20 or a $17 bottle that I would buy at the liquor store here. Now, of course, you say, yes, of course, they have to import everything. It's an island. Everything is usually imported from like Miami or something like that. But still, the markup on top of that import fee is incredible. It is incredible. The point is, you're gonna go, you're gonna have a good time, but make sure that you budget. Budget and budget well, and budget a little bit extra than you think you were going to need. I would also recommend that you buy your duty-free alcohol at the airport before you get into your cab. I thought about it when I got there because I know it was expensive from last year just being there, but I had the 2 minors with me. And so, of course, I was trying to be responsible and not look like a wino, but I kind of regretted not doing that because that bottle of wine that I picked up for my friend and I to do an extra celebration for her birthday year. So, yeah, I would say pick up whatever bottles if you absolutely need to at the airport before you get into your cab to go to your resort. The airport is small, the airport is hot. You can see all of the gates from just standing in one spot in the middle. However, do know that there is an upstairs waiting area, so a lot of people just wait on the first floor, and I did that the last time. I saw the stairs leading upstairs, but I didn't go upstairs. This time I did go upstairs. It was much cooler, it was much more serene. There's another bar, there's a bar where you can sit down up there. Otherwise, you're kind of just standing around downstairs. There's extra seating upstairs. Ran into some random run-ins with celebrities throughout the trip, but this time I was sitting next to a Real Housewives of Atlanta and her husband, actually, as we were waiting for our flight. And I heard when their flight got called for, I think it was a JetBlue flight to Atlanta, and they were going down to catch their flight. But it's much cooler up there. Another thing, you will have to queue outside. You will have to line up outside. So dress comfortably, even if you're going to a cooler destination. Ultimately, when you're flying back, make sure that you're dressed comfortably to be standing outside in the heat of the Turks and Caicos for at least 10 to 15 minutes while you're going around and around and around and around before you get into the physical building of the airport to go through TSA, to go through, not customs, but security. Nightlife. Whew. The nightlife changed drastically in just 1 year since I've been there. The priority, I will say, and my friend does agree with me, the priority is on sections in the nightlife. So it's all about bottle service. It's all about girls scantily dressed, you know, doing this little shimmy dance, holding a bottle in the air, some sparklers, and charging you thousands of dollars for a bottle of basic liquor. So if you want to sit down, it will cost you at least a couple of $100s in most places that you go. The interesting thing though was on the barge at Noah's Ark, we got there and we got the last seats that were in the shade, the last bench, it's a wooden bench in the shade, and realized that all of the seats that they had cordoned off in the sun were for the VIP. So the VIP spent thousands of dollars, and they ended up basically crowding under the awning to get some shade, or going into the water because it was so hot to get some shade and to cool off a little bit, because all that money they spent, they sat in the sun baking and burning. And yes, you need extra sunscreen. If you don't pack your own sunscreen, you will be paying $11, $12 a bottle at the grocery store or the sundry store, whatever little shops they have around. But you need that sunscreen. I mean, even I burn in the sun, and I'm a darker complexioned individual, but I get like little sun rashes and bumps, and then I'll peel. So I'm still kind of peeling. I've been peeling since I've got back. I'm still kind of peeling, and even though I put a lot of sunscreen on, I spent so much time in the water, I'm not really good at reapplying, because I get in the water and I want to stay in the water, and I know the sunscreen kind of, after a while it washes off, and being in the water, it kind of reflects, more onto your face. So this side of my face always gets a little bit more burned than others, and of course my neck gets a little bit more tanned and stuff like that. So sunscreen, 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 reapply, get sunscreen that can be reapplied on wet skin so that it will actually adhere to wet skin is my recommendation. Best time of year to go to Turks and Caicos? Anytime. Anytime is a good time to go to Turks and Caicos, honestly, because the weather is amazing. They hardly get hurricanes. The best people, good food. The food was expensive, yes, but the food was so good, it was so worth it. Both boys, my son and his friend, say that they will be back. My girlfriend, who this was also her first time going, she said she will be back. My son and his friend want to go back for spring break next year. My friend wants to go back for her next birthday next year. So I think we're going to be going back to Turks and Caicos. It's going to be one of those, like I said, it's one of those places for me where, for instance, my first time going to the Bahamas, I went with just this girlfriend and another guy friend of mine from high school. And we had a great time. We stayed in a timeshare condo, stayed for a week, had a great time. And then a few weeks later, before the summer was over, she and I went back and we took about 10 friends with us. They fell in love with the Bahamas also, but the Bahamas has changed drastically. This was during college. The Bahamas has changed drastically since then. People are still lovely and friendly, but it's become a lot more commercialized. And so once places become so commercialized, and I'm afraid of that, I can see that happening, honestly, a little bit with Turks and Caicos because of all the celebrity mentions. I think Drake even mentions it in one of his songs about Turks and Caicos. You don't hear any more advertising for Turks and Caicos, and this was something similar I said about the Cayman Islands. When I was younger, I heard, little commercials and jingles for the Cayman Islands and for Turks and Caicos. I don't hear them anymore. I don't hear them anymore. And I think it's because they're trying to keep their islands pristine. They're trying to keep it safe, and the people who own, the expensive property and stuff. Oh, another thing, a lovely, lovely thing. The beaches are open. The beaches are not owned by the resorts. You can go on any beach you want. You can walk around. The beaches are clean. Oh my gosh. Spotless. There isn't driftwood floating about. There isn't a whole bunch of seaweed. There isn't diapers and needles. And you're probably like, what kind of beaches have you gone to? Remember, I grew up in New York, so the beaches were, whoo, Ciao. Coney Island? Okay. So the beaches, spotless. And we went to a couple different beaches. Spotless, spotless, spotless. The only thing I would say is the chairs on the beaches. Of course, there's security and people walking around making sure that you have the correct color band on, that you're staying in the proper areas. So different resorts have their chairs set up right in front of their resorts, or as in our case, we didn't stay right on the beach, but our resort did have chairs set up on the beach for our resort. So they had the colors of the resort, the blue and the green, and we were able to set up and sit right there and have a great time and enjoy the beach. So yeah, the beaches are open, the beaches are free. It's not owned by resorts, it's for the people. It's owned by the people of the island. There are no lifeguards on the beach, but still, it's just wonderful. The water is calm, so it's not like a surfing destination. The water is calm, it's more snorkeling and stuff. Top tier snorkeling. It's one of the top places in the world to snorkel, and I can say that I have snorkeled in the Turks and Caicos. If you want to see that first video I posted, I also posted my near-death experience, so you may want to see that. So Turks and Caicos, top tier for snorkeling, top tier for diving and all of that stuff, fishing and all the things, but not for surfing. Water is warm, water is calm, beaches are clean. Great place to enjoy. Who knows, I may be back before the end of the year. I got a personal invitation, but I doubt I'll go for that invitation. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Have you been to Turks and Caicos? Are there other tips that you can share with the community? Remember, this is a teaching and learning community. If you learned at least one thing this video, please thumbs up. Please share it with other people, because we want to share. Sharing is caring. And make sure that you value experiences over things, because travel is one of the only things you buy that truly, truly makes you richer. Thank you for watching. Ciao.